or SebGo has canceled their flight DG6031 from Manila to San Jose, Mindoro, and flight DG6032 from San Jose to Manila. No announcement yet on when these flights will push through. The Sandigan Bayan will be proceeding with their trial of one wealth forfeiture case involving shares of stock supposedly held in trust for the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos Sr. and his wife. The forfeiture case seeks to recover some 3,000 shares of stocks of Eastern Telecom in favor of the government. In its decision to deny the defendant's motion for suspension, the Graft Court's 4th Division said it cannot suspend the trial of the case without a TRO or a writ of preliminary injunction from the Supreme Court. But this case is only one among the many cases lodged against the Marcos family alleged ill-gotten wealth, with still over a dozen cases pending. Meanwhile, around 20 cases have since been dismissed due to insufficiency of evidence. Now, almost 3 years into the pandemic, long COVID or persisting long-term symptoms of COVID-19 are now more evident among COVID survivors. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro has the report.
Freelance journalist Matthew Perez. He contracted COVID in January this year. 4 months later, the battle is far from over. He suffers from long COVID, a set of long-term symptoms that persists even after recovery from COVID-19.
I would consider the most debilitating symptom for me is the brain fog and the memory loss. There are people that I have met before, but within the first month or two of getting COVID, I don't remember seeing them.
But it's not just brain fog. He also suffers from shortness of breath, difficulty in sleeping, and being easily fatigued. The World Health Organization says as many as 1 out of every 5 people who contracted COVID may still have long-term effects long after their recovery. Dr. Encarnita Limpin, president of the Philippine College of Physicians, observed that most of these used to be moderate to critical COVID cases.
Even with mild, pwede kayong magkaroon ng simptomas.
To be clear, those with long COVID are no longer infectious, just like Perez, who is fully vaccinated. Limpin said, scientists call long COVID a multisystemic disease since there are more serious cases like those developing diabetes, complications with their heart, kidney, and even reproductive system.
Meron akong nakitaan na nagkaroon ng epididymitis, no? So that means na the reproductive organ of the of a male, no, pwedeng maapektuhan yon. Bumababa ang sperm cell.
When left untreated, long COVID can be fatal as it makes the patient more prone to infections.
So Limpin advises to seek a specialized physician specific to the symptoms you are experiencing.
Kunyari, kung hirap ng paghinga, then kailangan siguro papuntahin doon sa isang pulmonologist. Tapos kung tukol naman sa palpitation, no, kailangan papuntahin doon sa isang cardiologist.
Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro, we are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. South Korean heartthrob Yoon Bin crash lands in Madame Tussauds, Hong Kong. The actor, known for his iconic roles in various K-dramas and movies, is the newest addition to Madame Tussauds' star-studded wax figure lineup. Now, after the completion of the wax figure, it will tour in various Madame Tussauds locations, including Singapore and Thailand. Yoon Bin excitedly announces immortalization in wax to his fans, asking them to guess how the figure will look like and when will it be launched. China's 630 million strong Gen Z population is now driving consumer trends with a strong sense of nationalism. Western brands are set aside as Gen Z gives the term "Made in China" a new meaning. More in this Bloomberg Quick Take.
China's Generation Z, roughly defined as those born between 1995 and 2012, makes up about 1/5 of China's total population. And they have more spending power than their peers elsewhere in the world. Now they're redefining what sells in the country. Their spending habits are quite different from their previous generations, who are status and brand conscious. They're also much more nationalistic than previous generations, a trend that's hurting foreign brands while encouraging unusual local industries. Western companies like H&M have been subject to consumer boycotts over political issues like the use of cotton harvested in the rest of Xinjiang province, while investment is pouring into sectors like Hanfu, ancient clothing for China's dominant Han ethnicity.
我是一个满族人，但是我觉得对于汉文化的认同其实还是挺重要的，就是感觉就是一个民族认同。也可能是因为我们的服装真的很好看，但也可能是因为你是生活在这个地方，你的祖先是穿这样的衣服，你就会觉得哦，它比和服和韩服要好看。我应该是700多买的这个，然后也是等了挺久的，可能也等了得有2-3个月。你如果转圈的话，它就会像一个花一样这样打开，所以这个可能会有点贵。我觉得如果按照平均400块钱一件的话，我觉得得有大几千了，我花了大几千。
Unlike previous generations which love to splash out on foreign brands, Generation Z prefers experiences over labels. The market for Hanfu is now worth roughly $1.5 billion, driven by the government's promotion of traditional culture. China's Gen Z are also increasingly gathering for role-playing games where people get into costume and act out murder mysteries, like 25-year-old Wen Mang.
这些其实已经差不多被我们年轻人基本上已经淘汰掉了，就是这些项目，包括其实像喝酒啊什么的，像现在的剧本有一些酒本，其实它玩起来的效果比去 KTV 喝酒或者酒吧喝酒这些要有趣的多。
The offline game playing industry is expected to reach $2.4 billion this year with 100 million consumers.
那剧本杀是少数能够容纳差不多8到10个人甚至更多的一种娱乐形式，并且它能不断的去吸引新的人进来，这就是非常的符合年轻人的社交需求。
The rise of China's Gen Z and their changing tastes is a challenge for foreign brands that previously assumed that modernization would mean westernization. Whether they can hang on to the world's biggest consumer pool remains to be seen.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later again at 1:30 in the afternoon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.